Good morning. Thank you so much for getting up early, although it's kind of only early by New York standards because nobody here goes to bed till like 4 o'clock in the morning. So thank you all so much for getting up early on a Saturday to come and see me and to learn a little bit about success and how to get what you want. And sort of speaking of that, have you ever wondered like what makes somebody think they have any business talking about success or life secrets, right? How do you know I didn't just, slap my cover on somebody else's book and say, hey, I know what it takes to be successful, you should listen to me. The reason I say that is because there are a lot of people out there that you not necessarily should take advice from. So I like to build a little bit of credibility before we get into the good information so that you know why I'm up here, why I have a radio show, why I've written a book, and quite frankly, why you should listen to what I have to say. Let me grab my clicker. Okay, so first off, as lovely Quinn mentioned, I do have my own radio show. It's called Success Made Simple. It's on live internet radio every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. What's great about this show is it gives you 1 hour of lots of little tidbits of information. We talk about how to overcome obstacles, how to get past fear, how to do anything that you want to do if you want to do it badly enough. So you can tune into that. And if you miss a show live, you can actually go back and listen to any of my archived programs since this past April. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information on who I am and what do I know, which is exactly the question you should ask before you take advice from any person. So I'm going to give you a few little numbers. 9 is the number of times my parents have been divorced between them. My mother's been divorced 5 times and my father's been divorced 4. If dysfunction was in the Greek mythology, I would be Zeus. Okay, so 9 is the number of times my parents have been divorced between them. This lovely family tradition started when I was 2 years old. At 12 years old, I was in junior high school, as most of us were, and my peer counselor, or my school counselor said, you really have a knack for how the brain works. You should really think about becoming a psychologist later in life, but maybe now a peer counselor. So I thought about it. I learned, I studied, I had to take some extra classes, courses, some testing, and a peer counselor I became. Then at 17 years old, I decided that manicuring was something that I wanted to do. So I went to beauty school between my junior and senior year in high school, and I got my cosmetologist license in manicuring. Did that for a few years, and at age 21, I moved from Southern California to Northern California, and I started becoming a secretary, which we prefer to call executive assistant. So I became an executive assistant for this company called MCI, the phone company. You've probably heard of them. Was there for about a year, and then I went over to this mortgage company. It was called First Franklin Financial, and I was a executive assistant to a senior vice president of operations. This is where I started to pay attention and listen, learn about mortgages and finance and real estate, and a few months later, I stumbled across this condo that I thought I wanted to buy. I mean, heck, I was 21 years old and I was making 20 grand a year. I thought I was something. I should be able to get this condo, even if I only make $20,000 a year. So I crunched some numbers, and I did figure that if I lived on top ramen and tuna, I could probably afford this place. But I didn't have down payment. So for the next 3 months, I worked at Denny's. Anybody here ever worked at Denny's? Graveyard shift, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, I don't know if you've ever been in a Denny's at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's not pretty. So for the next little over 3 months, I worked 7 days a week, every week, for the next 3 months, and I saved up enough to buy my first condo. I was 24 years old at this point, and I finally got into my first piece of real estate investment. Now, right after moving into this condo, I thought, I'm working in this sales-based corporation, and these guys aren't any smarter than me, and God knows they don't work any harder than me. So why am I making $2,500 a month when these knuckleheads are making 10 grand a month? I could do this. So I paid attention, and I listened and learned some more, and I took the leap. I jumped into that cold bath of water, and I said, okay, I'm going to go into sales. So I did. And over the next 8 years, I made just over $4 million. I am not college educated. I am still going to college today after 10 years. I have 5 classes to go, and once I get there, which my objective is to get there by the end of this year, I will be the first person in my entire family, that's brothers, sisters, cousins, nephews, uncles, mothers, fathers, grandparents, that has ever gotten a college degree. And it's taken me 10 years, but I'm 5 classes away. How many 35-year-old people do you know that actually are still in college? But you know what? One class at a time, and it's just those little baby steps. And over those next 8 years, as I said, I made quite a bit of money, and at 33 years old, I was able to retire. From corporate America, at least. So that's what leads me to share with you. I wasn't college educated. God knows I didn't have any role models. Everything that you get from me today is all the stuff that I have tried, and I have done, and I have used, and I know they work. And then I've shared those tools with others. And then they tried them. And then they came back and said, oh my God, this stuff really does work. Where did you get all this? And that is why I have something to say. That is why you should listen, because I am just like you. I wasn't born with a silver spoon, and I had to work my way up for absolutely everything. So having said that, let's get into what is success.